Hi everyone, I'm Robin, First Normal Scout Leader. This is our tin can cooking preparation section for our virtual camp. Okay, I hope everyone's enjoying the way that they're camping, whether it be in the bedroom, be in the lounge, whether it be in the back garden. Hopefully everyone's having a little bit of fun and doing something a little bit different from what they're used to normally doing. Shame we can't have a proper camp. So tomorrow, part of the activity, or Sunday, not sure when this video is being posted, but on Sunday we've got a couple of extra activities for you, which is to do a tin can cooking. We're going to do a tin can stove and our fabled tin can pancakes. Okay, now then, this is all about the preparation, everything to do, what you need to do with your cans before you actually start cooking. Primarily this will all be done by an adult, a responsible adult who can do this because basically we're going to be turning one of these into one of these. See all the holes? And one of these. A nice big hole. Okay? And we're going to be using one of these. Everyone from scout age under should be getting an adult to do this. Okay? It's not really acceptable for them to be doing this themselves, unless of course the parent is entirely happy with that and they're monitoring it. We would not condone the child doing this. We always make the holes for the kids whenever we do it down at the scout hut. So to start off with, that's the first little bit of safety. Other bit of safety is always a good idea to wear a pair of some form of working gloves or so, to just keep your hands a little bit of grip on the cans, but also you get sharp edges formed and everything, and makes life a little bit safer, if nothing else. Okay, these gloves I'm wearing here aren't going to stop this going down into my hand if I have a wayward shot, but it will stop my hands getting cut when I'm dealing with the actual cans themselves, which potentially will have sharp edges on them once we've done the cutting. Okay, so first one's first are going to be, we're going to do the tin can cooking tins, the tin can pancakes tins. Okay, now you saw a quick example there. We're basically going to turn this into this. Nothing too extravagant about it all, but it's worth showing you a couple of techniques on what we use. Okay, solid surface to work off of. I'm doing this in my garage, so I'm using my Workmate kitchen worktop will do the job, but make sure you put a chopping board down, do it straight onto a concrete floor or a flag paved floors in the patio or something would be suitable, but I would always have something underneath just in case. Okay, because if a knife was if you were to miss or to go all the way through, you'd probably much rather your knife went into a lump of wood as opposed to your kitchen worktop or into a flagstone or something like that. The knife itself that I'm using is a very rudimentary, solid fixed blade boot knife. Okay, it's not the sort of knife that we condone youngsters to have generally. I know a lot of families will have something similar. The sort of knife you have in your kitchen though, I think probably your main carving knife would be a better option than maybe a steak knife. Steak knife would be quite flimsy. An ordinary pen knife, if it has a locking blade, should be okay, providing it's of good quality and good condition. But a knife where the blade simply folds away without any locking mechanism is not a good idea, because if you were to thrust it down and it did come through or start to close, you end up with a nasty little cut on your hand if you're not careful. Okay, so we'll get into this fairly quickly. Okay, so I'm using my Workmate just to make life a little bit easier for me. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Which can am I going to use? I'm going to use this can. It's got much flatter or easier rim to use or base to use than this tin here. Okay, always a good idea if you've got a tin, that the tin itself, one that's got a ring pull, or where you've removed the tin opener cuts from the top rather than around the sides. Okay, simply because that means you've got a bit more of a firmer top to the tin. Okay, if you had a side cutting one, you end up losing this folded over bit of metal at the top, which then makes it a little bit weaker, a little bit harder to make the holes. Okay, so we'll start with the holes at the top. Very simple. Thrust your knife in and give it a twist. Okay, there's no right or wrong way with regards to the number of holes, but the most important thing is to make the tin as airy as possible. Okay, so we've got to go down to the bottom here on this one. You might find when you're pushing your blades into the can, especially when you're doing the bottom of the tin will start to deform a little bit. It will go like that. It's always a good idea to just right it a little bit to give yourself a better chance next time round. Okay, moving on to the middle of the tin, we're just trying to give it as many reasonable holes as possible to make sure you give your candle a really good fighting chance when you actually start getting around to cooking your pancakes. So as you can see, lots and lots of holes. Okay, give it as much air as possible. Okay, that's the key to this, making sure there's as much air as possible getting into the tin. Okay, the candle itself, well, I was going to show you how to cut the candle, but I have already done this once already today, as you saw the demo ones there. They were the original video, and technical problems meant that I couldn't upload that video. So I can't actually show you the cutting of the candle. However, what you do want to do with your candle is make sure that you've got a gap between the top of the wick and the top of the candle. Okay, about 1 centimetre to 1.5 centimetres or so is about right. A little bit more is not going to make much difference, but if it's less than that, if it's up near the top, you're going to struggle to get the candle to stay alight once you put the can on the top. It essentially does no difference than you putting your fingers over the top of the wick. So it's always a good idea to make sure you've got about a good centimetre or so clearance at the top of the can, at the top of the wick for that. Okay. The type of candle in question is a straightforward, ordinary, straight candle. Other candles are available. These are the ones we've found that are the most reliable, the most suitable for this need. Tea lights don't really do the job, and I seem to remember once we had someone turn up with a great big 2-inch thick candle, which obviously didn't do the job either. Okay, and we couldn't cut it down, it was an absolute nightmare. With regards to what's best to use to cut it down, I find a hacksaw. Junior hacksaw does the job really well. A kitchen bread knife or a knife in general generally won't work because the blade gets thicker. If you imagine like that, from the cutting edge upwards the blade gets thicker, so actually it's really quite difficult to cut through wax in that regard, whereas a hacksaw blade is a fairly constant thickness all the way up through its depth, and so it's a lot easier to use a hacksaw blade. Okay, so that's the tin can pancakes can. The other tin can cooking we're doing is a tin can stove. Okay, tin can stove is very similar in the tin can pancake one, except for this one obviously the can's up the other way, so we've got the solid base at the bottom. It is the base this time round, okay, rather than your cooking platform. We're essentially going to be making a brazier, for lack of a better phrase, that your pot's going to sit on top of in order to enable you to cook. We're going to be cooking pancakes because my wife set on pancakes for dinner tonight, or for dessert this evening. But you know, you could boil a pot for a cup of tea, do bacon, eggs if you wanted to. You just need to be sensible about it all. So the principle's the same. We're going to have a row of holes around the top of the can, but then we have a big hole at the bottom rather than a series of other holes at the bottom. The reason being here is that this is where you're going to load in additional burning material for your little stove. Okay. Obviously with the candle, the tin can pancakes, you've got a candle in it, so that is all of your fuel. Okay, so in this regard we're going to do our holes around here at the first, okay, and they're going to be around the open end of the can this time around. So same principle again, pushing your knife in, making some nice good sized holes to allow any smoke and stuff that's going to accumulate in there to get out. We do want to make sure, you see here, sometimes you get little bits that just stick out. So it's a good idea, and this is why I've got the gloves, to try and just fold those in, okay, because they'll catch you unawares if you're not careful. Okay, also another quick safety tip, the inside of these cans become an absolute mincing machine in there. So keep these tins away from any young children. You don't want them sticking their hands in there because you'll be off to A&E fairly swiftly if you're not careful. So now we come around to making the hole at the bottom, this one here. Now approximately a third to half of the tin up is how far up we need to make this, and we need to make it less than just under a quarter of the circumference of the tin. Okay, now again, this is where a good reasonably sharp blade comes into effect. Okay, we're going to do the top line first. So yeah, all the way around to there, and then we've got another line just here. Okay. Oh, didn't quite hit the mark, but that's not imperative. It's not critical that it's exact. This is not an exact science that we're working with here. So, as you can see, we've got 2 lines, one there, one there. Oh, not exactly equal. That's that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put a line down here, roughly, aim for roughly in the middle of these two. Okay, we're going to be cutting down that way. Okay, that way, rather than trying to cut this piece out, which could be quite awkward, we can cut through there and we'll bend the resultant bits of metal in on themselves. Okay, so there we go. Again, wearing gloves in that instance is probably a good idea. It's not the safest and easiest thing to be doing, but what it does enable us to do is we can just push and fold in these pieces here. Okay, fold them in on themselves so they're inside the can, they're out of the way, they're not going to be causing you any problems. Now this one, as you see, I didn't quite get this bottom cut as tight to the bottom of the tin as I would have liked. Again, this isn't a massive exact science, but this is where a pair of pliers can come in quite handy. I'm just going to fold that down a little bit flatter to just make the opening a little bit bigger, a little bit easier to work with. Okay, and there we have it. Okay, now I'll just show you how good size that hole is there. Probably a little bit big. I've made that a little bit bigger than I would have done, would have liked. I think this one is probably a little bit of a need to exercise. That's pretty much it. The next video will be about how the actual cooking process. Okay, and so we've got to be doing pancakes. You need to make sure that you've got a match or a lighter, or stove lighter would be really good, really useful, certainly for the actual stove cooking one. And this will be, and so you also need to make sure you've got additional burning material, so kindling, twigs. Definitely make sure it's all dry. Little bits are stripped off, a bit of pallet wood or something like that, you know, just so you can keep feeding it and feeding it accordingly for whatever cooking processes you need to do. Okay, whether it's a cup of tea, whether it's a fry up, whether it's pancakes as I'm doing, or what have you. Okay, so I shall see you in the next video. Thank you very much, guys. See you then.